Good morning, everyone. I'm Tonya Maddox. I'm the publisher of the Montrose Daily Press. And in the MDP studios today, we have a real treat for you. We have Nancy Hanna from Hope West and Kelly Thompson. So before we get started, though, I would be completely remiss if I didn't once again thank Elevate Fiber for sponsoring Montrose Matters. We could not bring this programming to you all without the help of our dear friends at Elevate Fiber. All right, well, let's jump right in. And Nancy, yes. Let me tell you, you are a fan favorite in Montrose, okay? Yeah, she owns. Kelly, tell her that.
Nancy, you're a Montrose favorite.
I'm grateful.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, we are so honored to have you on this show and to talk about all the things that Hope West is doing. But there is a major anniversary that is happening.
There is. So 25 years ago, Hope West began in Grand Junction, Colorado. And it had a really unique beginning because 5 different organizations came together to form the first nonprofit hospice in our area. And so that was kind of a unique founding. So it was Community Hospital and St. Mary's and
Rocky Mountain.
That's right. And then it was
VA Hospital.
The VA Hospital in Hilltop. So they all came together and said, rather than do our own thing, let's build a hospice for our community. And so then 2 years after that, they moved to Montrose. So we have a long history of making an enormous difference for families in our area as they're going through grief and loss. And so it's been an honor.
Absolutely.
So there are so many facets, though, of Hope West, and I don't believe the average person knows all that you do. Besides transitioning, and is that the term that you all use to help families transition from their loved ones transition to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But besides that, there are so many other things that you provide and offer to the community. Do you want to tell us about some of them, Kelly?
You bet. So one of the things that Hope West started to support many of the programs that are unfunded through Medicare and Medicaid are the 3 retail stores. So we have Heirlooms store in Grand Junction on Main Street, Delta on Main Street, and here in Montrose on Main Street as well. So easy to remember where those stores are. And we rely on the generosity of the community through donations. We bill ourselves as an upscale resale store, so
nice.
The items that we sell are lovely. And they generate a significant amount of funds to help those programs that are unfunded. Some of those are the bereavement programs, specifically for children and teens. So we have quite an opportunity to help children and teens who are experiencing that loss as well. Anywhere from individual counseling to group counseling to art therapy to Camp Good Grief. We also have a similar camp called Itty Bitty Camp, and it's for those children that are experiencing grief, but they're not quite ready to spend a night away from mom and dad or family members. And then we have an equine program where horses are used as therapy to reach the really tough cases that have just not seen success in the traditional forms of bereavement therapy.
Okay.
So those stores help significantly to fund those programs.
So when you say upscale, that means I can't bring my tattered couch?
You know, we will find a home for anything that comes in. Sometimes that home is not on our sales floor, but we work really hard to keep things out of landfill and keep things repurposed. So, you know, we just really appreciate and count on the generosity of the community. If something has lived its life, we prefer to not have to deal with that, because that does cost us money to deal with some of those things.
Right.
And we feel that is money that could be better used for our patients and their families. So if something truly has lived its life, we would prefer not to.
So Kelly has just kindly told me, no, Tonya, we do not want your junk. Well, you know, we have sent our own little Sydney out to Heirlooms in Montrose, and she's going to take some shots. Sydney, will you get those up on the screen for us? Yep, see, you can see some of the nice things that they have there at Heirlooms for Hospice. When we come back, we are going to chat about the gala to end all galas.
Here in the heart of beautiful western Colorado, known for its unrivaled outdoor recreation, bountiful harvests, and unparalleled quality of life, changes are being made. Elevate Fiber is transforming the way we work, live, and play by creating exciting new opportunities for local families and businesses. Are you ready?
And good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Montrose Matters. So we are here with the fabulous folks from Hope West, and we're having such a good time. All right, Kelly, you said bling. We took a break, and you said you had me at bling. There is a little event that is happening in Montrose soon. It's not, the most attended event in all of Montrose or the most talked about event of all of Montrose, right?
I believe it probably is. It's been equated to as prom for adults, but it is our gala that's coming up on March 17th at the Pavilion. And this is an opportunity for Montrose to dress up, get your bling on, and this is our Oscars, I guess.
Oh, I love it.
Our Oscars.
I'm going to have to go shopping. So, Nancy, you've been getting your bling on in Montrose at this gala for how many years now?
Well, for 13.
13?
Yeah, that's right.
And how do you do it each year? I mean, it looks, from what I understand, from the decorations to the attendance to just the food, all of that is a spectacle. How do you do it each year?
Well, basically, I would say as an organization, we have an event machine. So we do things cost effectively, and we do things, as a group. So we come up with a theme, an idea that we think would be spectacular. And then we have a team of volunteers in Grand Junction that has worked on these galas for over 20 years. And they are incredibly creative and artistic, and they make the majority of those decorations. And we use them at the Grand Junction Gala, which is this coming Saturday, February 24th. And then we haul them to Montrose, and we use them in Montrose. And then we haul them to Delta and use them in Delta. So it costs us pennies on the dollar to do incredible decorations because we maximize what we do and use it over and over.
Oh, that sounds like a well-oiled machine.
It is.
So what is the theme this year?
So the theme this year is Illuminate, because this is our 25th year of Hospice starting, and it's our 23rd year in Montrose. So we're excited. The gala is a wonderful time to be able to enjoy great food and a wonderful band and a beautiful event, but it's also a great way to showcase our mission and the incredible care that we provide to our community.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I should have known this. There's a band involved?
A fabulous band that is going to have quite a wide spectrum of genre and voices, everything from male solo to female solo to group to duet. So they're quite versatile. Probably the best band I've ever heard. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, does the band travel with each of the galas too, or are they different bands?
Well, we have the same band that they had at Junction, I believe.
Okay.
And then Delta sometimes does something different. But yeah, we try and come up with really great bands because that makes an evening. It's important.
Oh, that is nice. I guess I'm going to have to get my dancing shoes on as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, Nancy, I have heard you, she's going to blush, by the way, so you guys get ready for this. When I hear people refer to you and Hospice and what you've done for this community, they use terms like Nancy is grace walking, or she is, I know that's one that just sticks out to me. How do you do this? How do you run this well-oiled machine and not get a hair out of place?
I always say this because I don't do the hard work. Kelly and Starla before him are their program director. They manage that clinical staff, and they're the ones that provide that incredible care for our families. My role is being in the community and doing that piece of it. So as I say, I don't do gloves, I don't do the hard part. For me, it's an honor to be able to work for Hope West and to provide the resources to build those relationships with our community. And one of the things that, because our community is so incredibly generous and grateful, then we're able to never turn patients away. Because as a nonprofit, we never say no to patients without a payer source who have really complicated care, who require really expensive medications. Because our community is generous with us,
Yes.
we can provide that care. So for me, it's an honor to be able to help support. And I get to make friends and put on galas and luncheons and breakfasts and parties, and so my role is the fun work. Kelly and the clinical staff, they do the hard, difficult things, and they do that as well with tremendous grace.
And you said, how do you do that? I think it really boils down to one word, which is passion.
Yes.
And whether it's the Heirlooms employee or Nancy or the clinical staff or our CNAs or volunteer coordinator, all these facets of Hope West, we do it because of our passion for wanting to help people through that final stage of life, and do it with their grace, their integrity, their dignity, all as our center focus. And so it's just a beautiful, it's a very honorable way to serve, and I think we all feel that way being employed by Hope West, that we're very honored to be here.
Well, and you said it's serve, and you obviously have to have a servant's heart
Absolutely.
to do what you do every day, and that's hard to find. The theme of your event this year, Illuminate. I will tell you that my goal here at Montrose Matters is to illuminate organizations such as Hope West, and to show the power of this community and the support of this community. We cannot thank you enough for what you do that's in the spotlight, and all the things that you do behind the scenes. So on behalf of all of Montrose, thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Appreciate
And
it.
thank you, Hope West. Now, let's all go illuminate and enjoy ourselves at that event. Welcome back to Montrose Matters, and we're talking to Nancy and Kelly from Hope West. It's just been such a pleasure and an honor to have them both here. I'm learning so much. One of the things, though, that I know the rest of the community would like to know is, what is it about hospice and Hope West that the average person doesn't know that you want to make sure that they're aware of?
I think Hope West and hospice is an incredible resource for families and for people who are transitioning. And the unfortunate thing about hospice is when people hear that word, there's a certain conception about what that word means.
Mm-hmm.
It connotes I'm throwing in the towel, I'm giving up, and they're coming to take me away. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Unfortunately, we see a lot of people come to us in those last 3 to 7 days, and at times it can be heartbreaking, because we could have been so much more support to the family, and it's because of the word and what that seems to carry with it, the word hospice. I think for the most part, people think that it means that I've given up. And it was interesting, my dad was under hospice care about a year ago, and I was trying desperately really to get him at least in the palliative part of that. So palliative is a program that we have that you may not have an end-of-life diagnosis yet, but there are some significant challenges. And I was really trying to get some support in there for my mom, who was the primary caregiver. And Dad had the same response that so many people have when they hear the word hospice. I said, Dad, I work for Hope West. Could we get them in there to see if we could help you? I don't need those people in here. And those people, again, it's that perception that they're going to just come carry me out.
Right.
And so I finally said, would you please let a nurse come and at least present to you what Hope West could do for you? And you can always say no at the end. You can say no. And much to my surprise, he agreed to do that. And I think it was the ability to say no at the end if you don't want this. And so the nurse was just fabulous, and she said, you know, Fred, what do you think is happening? And he just very matter-of-factly said, well, I'm dying. And she said, well, how do you feel about that? I'm fine with it. I'm almost 90 years old. And she said, well, how does that look for you? And he had a favorite recliner chair, and he said, right here in this chair. And she just said, Fred, I think you need our services, because if you're not on our services, you could very well end up in a place you don't want to be and experiencing a death you don't want.
Interesting.
And my dad, his reply was right on the heels of that, and he said, then sign me up. And I think if people just knew that what hospice is really about is providing what you want. The
Right.
patient is in control. The patient gets to decide what is right for me at the end of life. So that's pretty powerful. And I think when people hear, I get to have the reins on this buggy ride, that's good. That's a good thing.
And I think the other thing too is that, you know, I've had so many families say to me after the death, you know, I knew you would come in and provide incredible care for my loved one. I didn't realize how hard it would be for me. And I didn't realize how much I would need your staff. And I don't know what I would have done without them. They took care of me, and we provide all the medications people need for that illness, the oxygen, hospital beds, all that equipment. Everything comes to them, and there's somebody to call in the middle of the night when there's a pain crisis or you're scared. There's somebody to answer your questions, to hug you, to hold your hand, to walk you through. The support for the family is, I mean, it's without measure, and it just means so much. And if, especially for caregivers, I mean, you know, we didn't go to school to learn how to do
Right.
that. And so to have somebody to walk you through how to provide that best level of care, it's such a comfort. It's just, if we can come in and help families 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you know, before the end, it makes all the difference. Then it's not traumatic. It's, you know, you've got somebody there with you who's navigated many, many situations like this. And there's that sense of comfort. And our staff is so loving and supportive and wonderful, as well as being experts in pain and symptoms. So they're amazing.
I know I definitely learned something. Montrose, do you hear that? Don't wait until the last 3 to 7 days. Reach out to them months ahead of time. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, this well-oiled machine I know is run because of a great group of volunteers. Welcome back to Montrose Matters. All right, I cannot get enough of these two. I'm not going to let them out of the MDP studios. Kelly and Nancy have just been a joy to talk to and learn about Hope West. But, you know, they have a secret sauce that most nonprofits, you know, they need, and it's volunteers. I want to know how many volunteers it takes to do what you do, and how do you find them?
Well, to give you a reference point, Hope West is running with about 350 employees right now, and we are just in the 1,400 range of volunteers. So you can tell who the backbone of this company is.
I'm sorry, Kelly, did you just say 1,400 volunteers?
And that's through the organization-wide, so
Yes.
from Meeker to Grand Junction to Delta and up the North Fork Valley down to Montrose and into Ouray. About 1,400 volunteers help us do everything that we do, from the administrative part to the running of the Heirlooms stores to patient services. So a lot of what we're able to do is because of this incredible team of nurses and social workers and chaplain and CNAs, and then our volunteers who will go in and give respite time to the caregivers so that they can rest and rejuvenate. So here in the Montrose area, we're just under 300 for that volunteer count. So we have a phenomenal community here that supports us in that. And these volunteers are just, they've got the biggest hearts in the world and are very giving and very compassionate in what the work that they do as well.
So how do you find these volunteers, or do they find you? That's the rumor out there.
Yeah, that,
In many cases, they find us. I think they see the work that we do and they say, hey, I want to be involved in that. That feels good to me. A lot of times, people are looking for ways to give back. They have had a hospice experience of their own, either through a family member or a friend, and they just realize what beautiful work we do, and they have this epiphanal moment where they say, I want to be involved in that. I have contributions, I have things that I can give, and gifts that I can offer. And so oftentimes that's how they come to us.
Great. So, 300 volunteers, that can't be an easy feat to manage the time and where they're placed and all of the nuances that go along with that. Who does that?
Well, a lot of times it's broken out by departments. So our Heirlooms store takes about 80 of those volunteers. Okay. And so they work a schedule just like you would as an employee. So we run 4-hour shifts, and there's a morning shift and an afternoon shift. So they work from 9:30 to 1:30, and then we have an afternoon shift that comes in 1:30 to 5:30. Okay. And those people are the most incredibly dedicated. They show up as if this was their career. And many of them have done it for years upon years. And when I'm saying years, I mean 15 to 20 years.
Oh,
we
my.
had 3 volunteers, about 3 years ago, we had 3 volunteers that were all 93. And they were religious. They showed up every week for their assigned shift. And so, when I think about the giving on their part, it is really heartwarming to realize such dedication. Many of them have volunteered for 10 years and more.
Oh my goodness. Well, we talked about having a servant's heart or needing a servant's heart to do what you do, and it seems as if the volunteers have a servant's heart as well.
Most definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
So, Nancy and Kelly, is there something you'd like to say to the 300 volunteers that help out with Hope West?
Wow, thank you.
well, yeah, there's no way we could do what we do. Even like with the gala, we'll have 80 volunteers that have a part in helping with that gala. I have a committee that helps with silent auction items. There's no way we could do what we do without them. We have people who decorate, people who make lunch for the volunteers as we decorate. It's just, we have volunteers who sew, who make bears, or family members with clothing. We have volunteers who help in the office, who work with our Hope West Kids program. They serve in a multitude of ways, and without them, we couldn't provide the level of care we do.
We have gardening volunteers.
We do have gardening
Oh,
volunteers.
goodness.
Yeah.
I
that's right.
may need some help there. I need a green thumb.
We can do it.
Good. Well, it sounds like Hope West can do a lot, and they have done a lot, and will continue to do quite a bit for this community. Again, thank you, Nancy, thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Hope West. Here's to another 25 years.
Yes.
That's right.
Thank you.